Hi friends, thanks for joining me. It's Morag here, and today I am working with the April 2024 kits, and I should be creating a layout which I hope to inspire you with lots of texture and detail, but still keeping it kind of pretty and not overwhelming. So I shall be using a little bit of mixed media on my background. No, that's not it, by the way. In the colour kit this month, we had these Hueys or Hero Hues, little mini cubes of ink, and I've not used them before, so I just wanted to swatch them. And this piece of paper that you can see, I've swatched previous ink pads that we've had from Hip Kit. And I'm just trying to find a little bit of white space just to experiment and swatch things out. The colours are my favourites, of course, because they contain sort of teals and blues, perfect for your summer layouts. So they'll definitely be used in future layouts as well. But for today, I am scrapping a photo for a friend from a wedding reception. So I am going to keep it light and pretty, but still add that texture and detail. As those colours are quite bright, I'm going to start off with some salvage patina on the background. And I've got a small mini brayer. Now the trick with this is to really dilute the ink very well. You can use ready diluted inks such as distress sprays, and we've had shimmers in the past which would be fantastic for this purpose, but I would still personally add a little bit more water so it's very light. Then if you need more colour, you can go back over and layer, and that way you've got more control. So for my splatters, again, you can see that I've laid down some ink and then I've diluted that well with water. So you get a nice fluid ink. These are really juicy, so they're really great for this purpose or for stamping with, which is probably their intention. So I just need to leave that to dry, and whilst I'm doing that, I'm going to create a border for the right hand side of my page. So I've picked out my favourite paper, and I've pulled out some of the blooms that we get in the embellishment kit this month, and I'm going to create a kind of a vertical flower border. And also in the embellishment kit this month, we have these fantastic wooden embellishments featuring those big triangles. And I should be using that then to add texture to the main part of the page, while still keeping it open and light. So for my border, I'm just going to add a little bit of punched detail behind. Now we did get fabric borders in the kit this month, but I've used some of those already, and the ones I have left are a little bit too bright for today's layout, hence the little light border here. And I've already stitched the pink paper. Now I do need to be careful because some of those elements haven't dried yet on the background, so I am trying to keep well away. I did have a bit of a disaster with one last week. Thought it was all dry and put my things on top and smudged the black ink splatters everywhere, so I've tried to learn my lesson. I'm just cutting down some of the white off the die cuts here. Depending on the die cut, some of them have a kind of a nice border around them. But for this layout, because I'm going to have a lot of flowers over the top of one another, I actually just wanted to cut that down a little tiny bit. So last weekend I got some cheesecloth and had a little session dyeing my cheesecloths into different colours. So of course I needed to use that on the next layout, as you do. So So it'll probably appear on the next 15 layouts, I imagine. So I've got 2 here that I've dyed, and I believe one is, I want to say Victorian Velvet. I did forget to write down or label them up. And this one's Speckled Egg. And if you've never dyed cheesecloth before, it's really easy, a lot of fun, and I just love the texture. I've got a whole bag of beautiful dyed cheesecloths now, so they're all raring to go for my projects. Now the trick is to the cheesecloth, we don't really want to see it, because you want the texture from the cheesecloth, but it does look like it needs an iron. So when I put it on my layouts, I really need to cover most of it up, because you just want the edges poking out here and there. Otherwise it does look like you need to get the iron out. Well, for me anyway, a bit of OCD I think. So I don't end up using the Speckled Egg colour, I just stuck with the pink. And I love how it's turned out, because you just get that subtle texture like you would with tangled thread, for example. So if you don't have the cheesecloth, you can tangle up some thread, and then you'll get that wispy kind of texture underneath instead. I've also done a similar sort of thing with tulle in the past. So I have little mini suitcases full of tulle. And all sorts of things I like to add with texture. And I'll just go through phases, I think, of using one thing or another. So those wooden embellishments there, the triangles, they are from the embellishment kit. And they have a beautiful finish on these. They're really high quality wood. So most of the time you get veneers, but I think this looks like, you know, like a solid piece of wood to me. So beautiful in texture. And I'm just going to arrange them more or less, you know, off camera. I have arranged them, rearranged them, and I think the trick is with this is you've got to use different sizes and have them some facing up, some facing down, and just keep fiddling about until you get something that pleases your eye. But just to stop my procrastination any longer, I'm just going to stick down my photo, and I've gone for the top half, so there's kind of maybe just over halfway, so there's a bit more space at the bottom of the page. And I'm just going to stick the wooden triangles down. And I think it's these ones just below the photo that I wasn't sure about. So as you can see, I've kept my triangles to the left. So in my head, that they kind of sweep from the top to the bottom. And it's just that I need to make a decision on those last 2. I think that's where they end up in the end anyway, so must be about right for me. Look at that, I'm just going to stick down. Sometimes I just need to have a few minutes and then I can say, well, that's good enough, or that's how I want it after all. So just to enhance my border a little, I am going to add some little banners. It's one of my favourite things to do, to be fair. You can just use some little paper scraps, and it just adds pretty detail and texture. So I'm just going to tuck it in. So for me, I just always leave my edges open so I can do a last minute tuck in. And I'm trying to use that everyday life, but it's just too big to poke out of that border. So I'm just going to use the right now one. And the label then ends up at the bottom. So I've left a gap on the top right of my photo there, and that's where I can tuck in some journaling, some die cut layers. And that's what I love about the kit. You always get lots of different textures in the kit. So they've done all the hard work for you. And I'm just going to tuck in some of those labels, the die cut labels, again from the embellishment kit. And because I've already popped in my foam tape on the back, I had to cut those down just to fit in. I did end up lifting up the photo at the very end off camera because I had a kind of a last minute, and this is what I always do. Oh, shall I just add that? Shall I just add this? I can't help myself. I think sometimes though, I think you can get too close to things and then you can't see the wood for the trees. So kind of in my logic, I think it's nice to have a bit of a break from your layout, come back and see what else, does it need. And just a few of those puffy stickers now, again from the embellishment kit. I've stuck with the hearts because it's a family, so these are aunts and cousins, nieces, nephews and so on. And off camera I also added a little bit of stitching, so a couple of cross stitches to the triangles. And as you can see there, I also tucked in one of the film strips and another die cut at the top. But I love how it's turned out. The embellishment kits and the main kits this month were so pretty. I love all the texture that I've created on this layout, and I hope you like it too. So I am going to leave you with the rest of the close-ups, and hopefully I'll see your version of the layout in the group, the Hip Kit Club group, because we always love to see what you do. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so that you never miss out on all the amazing inspiration from our team. So I'll see you next time. Bye now.